What's up, everybody? Welcome back to ENT Fantasy Football. I'm your boy Sterling. Welcome back. And today I got a nice video coming for you guys, and it's buy low for week 7 of the fantasy football season. It's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. We are already in week 7 of the NFL season, and it's crazy. It feels like yesterday we were just in still preseason, and now here we are almost halfway through the season. But before we get into the video, guys, make sure you guys go down below. You already know all that good stuff. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to this channel, all that stuff. And let's get into my week 7 buy low players. So I got 5 players for you guys, and my first buy low option of this week is Tee Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Tee Higgins, he's been dealing with a little bit of an injury issue. He's been banged up. But he is basically just on the verge of being fully healthy. Last week, he was completely involved back in the offense. And this season, here's the statistic for you guys. This season where Tee Higgins has been like a full participant in the game, not that one game where he was active, but then he was on the sideline the whole time because he wasn't healthy, or the games that he was banged up. But when he's been fully healthy, Tee Higgins is actually 1% more target share than Ja'Marr Chase on the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, obviously, 1% isn't a crazy amount, but it's kind of like a 1A, 1B situation in this offense with the wide receivers. And I think right now is a great time to buy low on Tee Higgins. Obviously, the Bengals offense and the Bengals whole team in general just hasn't really been what was advertised or what we had expecting after their last season playoff run. But I think they are going to continue to make strides to get better week by week, and we've seen that. We've seen that show. And obviously, we know the talent of Tee Higgins. We know he's a very explosive player. We know the talent and the opportunity that is there for Tee Higgins. And he hasn't performed up to that, especially in recent weeks. And I think now is your time to go out and buy low on Tee Higgins. Now, my next buy low is a quarterback, and it's Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert, he was drafted to be a top quarterback in fantasy football. And this is no shame, but as of right now, he is the quarterback 8 on the season. And obviously, quarterback 8 isn't terrible, but when you add in the factors like the passing offense hasn't really been up to par, it hasn't performed up to expectations. And in my opinion, a huge part of that is Keenan Allen not being healthy. And so when Keenan Allen comes back, he should be coming back in the next couple weeks. Right now is your time to buy Justin Herbert. His last 2 games have been sort of subpar for Justin Herbert standards. And if he has another disappointing week this week, he goes into his bye week next week. So if Justin Herbert has a slightly disappointing game this week and then going into the bye week, right now is your perfect time to buy low on Justin Herbert, because once this offense hits its stride, once it gets Keenan Allen back, this is going to be a high-powered offense, and we know the talent of Justin Herbert. We know he was drafted in fantasy football to be a top 3 option at the quarterback position, and so far at the quarterback 8 with some slightly subpar performances and going into the bye week, I think now is your time to buy low on Justin Herbert, and you could be getting yourself a top-tier fantasy quarterback for the rest of the season. And my next one is the only tight end of this video, but it's Dalton Schultz. Now, Dalton Schultz, here's a number for you guys. Last season, Dalton Schultz, with a full season of Dak Prescott, finished as the tight end 4 on the season. He was the 4th ranked tight end for fantasy football last year. And this season, week 1, with Dak Prescott in the game healthy, he had 9 targets. Now, since then, obviously, Dak Prescott got injured, has not played a game since. Dalton Schultz also was injured. He played, I believe, 1 or 2 games since then. And in those games, he didn't really look like he was himself. He also wasn't as involved with Cooper Rush leading the offense. But with Dak Prescott now coming back, I think what we saw last season and what we saw in week 1 of this year is going to continue. With Dak Prescott, he had 9 targets in week 1 with 7 receptions and 62 yards. And that's a lot of what we saw last season. He was very involved, very targeted last season with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. And obviously, as you can tell, that's the main point I'm trying to make. With Cooper Rush, he has not played up to expectation, and he's also been banged up. That's another factor in this. So with him now getting healthy, with him getting his quarterback back that he seems to have a really good rapport with, Dalton Schultz is a buy low option, because you can get Dalton Schultz for super cheap right now out there. Like, you do not have to pay anything at all for Dalton Schultz, and you can get yourself a really good tight end. So my next player is one of my personal favorite players, and if you've been keeping up with this channel, and the content on this channel, you would know way back, way back, before the season even started, I had Courtland Sutton as my guy for the wide receiver position, and he's performed well. The only thing is that with how bad this offense has been in recent weeks, Courtland Sutton's production hasn't been what you really wanted and what you saw the first couple weeks. And now this is the thing. This is the main thing. Courtland Sutton has a super easy remaining strength of schedule for the rest of the year. He has a ton of cakewalk matchups. And another thing is, with all the negative press and all the negative coverage, all the negative thoughts and conversations going on about Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett, people are doing nothing but slandering this team. And the negative coverage for this team is at an all-time high right now. Because it's super easy just to clown Russell Wilson, to clown Nathaniel Hackett, to clown this team. And so I can go into that a lot, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it Courtland Sutton related. But Courtland Sutton has an easy strength of schedule. He's obviously clearly Russell Wilson's favorite target. Russell Wilson targets him a ton, arguably more than he actually should for the betterment of the team. And this offense is at rock bottom right now. There's nowhere to go but up. Nowhere at all to go but up. And I know we've been saying that it has to get better, but at this point, it has to get better. It has to get better. And so Courtland Sutton is being undervalued right now. The Courtland Sutton managers out there are upset because the offense is bad. He's not getting as much high-value touches as he should in the red zone. This offense in the red zone is bad, and I'm expecting that to get better as the season goes on. And so the last player of this video is a running back, and it's Travis Etienne. Now, Travis Etienne, obviously, the start of the season, he didn't really have a favorable start to his season. He was getting outplayed by James Robinson, and James Robinson was getting the majority of the carries, majority of the backfield touches, and Travis Etienne wasn't as featured as you would want him to be. And I feel like people still think that is what is going on with this offense. But in recent weeks, it's actually changed, and it's flipped. And so the last 3 weeks, Travis Etienne and James Robinson are basically 50-50 on carries. I believe 2 of the 3 weeks, they were literally exactly tied, and then James Robinson in one of the games had like 1 or 2 extra carries than Travis Etienne. And another big point that I want to make is that in those 3 games, Travis Etienne has been much more efficient than James Robinson. He's averaging more yards per carry by more than a yard. He's also has more yards per reception. He's running more routes. He's out there on more passing down plays, which is good for fantasy football because, number one, on an obvious passing down situation, Travis Etienne is out there, and the defense is playing softer because obviously they know that the Jaguars want to pass the ball on that obvious passing down. You see what I'm saying? And so Travis Etienne sees softer defenses than James Robinson, and when James Robinson is in the game, it's on more run plays where the box is more stacked. There's more focus on the backfield and on James Robinson in those earlier downs. And so with Travis Etienne being more efficient, seeing about the same amount of carries, Travis Etienne, I think, is going to continue trending upward as we have seen the rest of this season. And I think he could, at his peak, could be a solid RB2 if this continues to go in his direction, but we will see. But I would buy low on James Robinson. On Travis Etienne, But that's all my 5 players for today's buy low video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys go down below, like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, go watch all our old videos. And I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen.